Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Hi. Hi, Mohammed, Mark. Hi, Jean-Marc. We are going to see you there with us. It's great that you are here, Marius. I am here today with Wagner Alegretti. We have been given so many courses together throughout decades, and we are going to facilitate the retreat at the IAC campus together. So that's why we are here, so you can get to know both of us. I'll let Wagner introduce himself. I prepared some slides so that we can have a nice conversation with image, but we are here to answer your questions in regards to anything that you would like to know about the possibility of coming to this magnificent retreat. And I say this because it really is, and we call it a consciousness spa for obvious reasons. It's much more than just a spiritual spa, than just meditation, than just living the body. So that's why we named like this. So Wagner, would you like to say hello? And I'm going to bring the slides in the meantime.
Just say hello to everyone. It's good to be here with you. We are going to have about an hour, perhaps a little bit more, to discuss some of the subjects we are going to discuss this course, the retreat, but also to explain to you the retreat. I suppose some of you, many of you don't know me, but being with the IAC from the beginning, I'm one of the founders of it. I have been giving classes, seminars on this now for 40 years. Like Nanci, I have been having out-of-body experience since I was a child. So this comes from my own experience and also from this 40 years of experience giving classes, seminars, and practical sessions for training, and we're going to share with you as much as we can, and certainly a lot more when you go there to work. So thank you for being here.
Wonderful. I am bringing the slides, but it's processing because we wanted to show you a few things. The number one thing that I'd like to say is this retreat is your passport to a much richer life, indeed, in which you are going to be able to recognize inside of you, but also in the events around of you, aspects that right now they may very well be just in an unconscious level or in your subconscious mind. You do not know how to interpret. And of course, we want to reach out to a broader reality. We are not physical beings. We are multidimensional consciousnesses. We live a multidimensional life, but we are conditioned to be very much here, connected to the physical body, to the physical life, and having only our concerns here. So that's why Wagner and we are going to team up to bring all of this to you. I have here a slide. I see that it's going to create a confusion, but one of the things that, confusion in my design, but one of the things that I want to start by saying is that throughout these so many decades, well, 3 decades at least, that we have created the strategy, pedagogical strategy that we created, both Wagner and I, we have created techniques and a pedagogy. We have a certain style of teaching and explaining things that it's very much ours. We both have different styles actually, but the combination of the two, I think it brings great results, right, Wagner? We have been so many different countries, different cultures in every single country, with every single group, we managed to have people experiencing things that were new to them and giving them a new lease of life. Of course, to do this, it's a set of many different factors. And among these factors, our experience and being able to speak, I'd say, with people from so many different cultures, we had to create ways to give the concepts, to transfer, to share the concepts, but also to have people do the techniques with a proper mind, with a proper set of mind. Because one of the things that limits us the most is that we tend to apply techniques in a way that we are looking for results that it's not what's expected, or we want too much at the same time. Some people, they want too little, and we have had such great results. So that's why we had here prepared this material. And perhaps Wagner can share a bit of this with you, because we know so many places and there are so many good, great people teaching and explaining techniques, but putting any kind of displaced modesty aside, very few people know what really, really happens beyond the physical world as we do. And so many people nowadays, they are teaching and creating their own group of people, their followers, which is great. The more, the merrier. If it's for evolution, that's what we want. But it's almost like a second-hand thing. We have influenced so many people around the world. I guess that is good for us, right, Wagner? So when we die, we carry this with us.
I would even say that many people who are now giving courses and seminars, they make us happy because they took courses with us, some 10 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, and now they are spreading a little bit more about a kind of a multidimensionality that is not only theoretical, but it's one that you can really experience, you can really be part of. And in fact, a big part of this retreat course is going to be putting all of these things together, because Nanci and I have been traveling, going, as she said, to many different places, giving courses. But as you know, our society changed a little bit. Now it's a little bit more difficult to travel so much, because in the past we used to be in a different place every weekend. No, Nanci, it was really hard to be in so many different countries giving classes. I mean, they're present. But then,
in person, yes. We traveled like crazy. Wagner, I think when we speak, if I speak, you have to turn off your microphone because it's producing echo. Probably because...
But the echo, I suppose it is coming
from me.
Yes, because I put my earphone here exactly to avoid that. It's because people get the sound directly from my microphone, but there is a little bit delay when it goes to your computer and feedback from your microphone.
Can you...
Well, no. I think you would need to...
I will.
Your volume a little bit lower.
I think my volume is at the maximum. I'm going to get a different microphone and see if I put some headsets. But for now, I just wanted to introduce here something that is what Wagner was saying. We have traveled so much, so many different places. And one of the big problems that we would face is that we are teaching techniques that is supposed to help people to recognize the reality that is beyond their bodies, beyond just the material world. But if we go to a place where the energies are not appropriate and we do not have the proper conditions, we would struggle a lot in so many different hotels, so many different conditions. And that's why we wanted very much to have a campus for our own, for our work, and in this case for the IAC, because of course we are working with the IAC in this. So Wagner, maybe you share a little bit about why we built the campus, and I'm going to take care of my phone here. Is that okay?
No phone, headphone, because then what I say doesn't come back through your microphone. I think it's too sensitive there. But then, just to continue here, as Nancy was saying, we were giving courses, mostly traveling, and you can imagine going to different places, cities, many times renting rooms in hotels to give not only theoretical classes, but mostly our practical exercises. Theoretical classes are much easier, of course, but practical exercises, they are a little bit more complicated because you need the right infrastructure, a place with sound insulation, a place that can be isolated from interference, interruptions from other people. But even more complicated, good energies, because you can imagine sometimes we go to a place, you pay, you go there, you improve everything, but the energy is not so good. So many times Nessa and I had to work with energy before, sometimes 1, 2 days before, to really cleanse the place there. So over time, over these decades, we thought, look, we needed to build our own place, a place we can control, we can select what happens there, and it's going to be new. So about 25 years ago, it's going to be our anniversary now, we bought this piece of land there in Portugal with a group of volunteers, everybody donating a bit. And it was just, the woods. It was just the countryside, just with sheep around. And we start building our labs, our main auditorium, our place for people to be, because there was nothing there. But what is important to say is that as much as possible, as much it was within our reach, we did everything to improve the physical conditions of these places. Like I said, the temperature is controlled, the places can be made completely dark, you can control the temperature, but mostly because it was a new place in the countryside among trees, the energy was and continues to be, fortunately, very good there. And when you keep working with this particular purpose and you have people there experiencing different sort of phenomena and trying to get closer to their spirit mentors, and they try to produce out of that experience, mostly in those labs, because those labs, they concentrate this kind of informational, energetic field even more. But then this sustains, grows, and it specifies each time more and more that particular kind of vibe or influence there. This is what in the past people used to call the thought forms. Sometimes people call more for thought scenes. It doesn't matter now, but it's just to say that energy can carry information. So even for our spirit guides, spirit mentors, it's much easier to protect the place, to select, non-physically, who comes in, who goes out. And fortunately, during all these years, we have never had absolutely no case of a person who had a kind of fearful, kind of traumatic experience there. There is no risk in leaving the body besides the psychological things. I mean, somebody can go outside of the body and see something the person wasn't prepared, to see. But so far, nothing like this happened there. One thing that is interesting also among all of these improvements or all these features that we had there is that because of this very close contact with nature, we can use not only the constructions, the buildings per se, but the outdoors. So we go out, and we are going to do this during the retreat, to practice energy exercises with exchange of energy with the soil, with the ground, with the air, the atmosphere, with the plants. And then you will see that for each different plant, sometimes different species, but sometimes different individuals of the same species, you can really feel the differences of energy there. It's a little bit like if you were tasting coffee or chocolate, you can contrast one with the other, then you will start seeing the differences there. Many people arrived there at the campus, and Nancy can confirm there and perhaps even tell other stories there. People who said, look, I have no sensation, perception, discrimination of energy at all. But many times just because the person didn't know what to pay attention to. So during this course and during the retreat, we are going to get out, work with the nature there. You will be able to notice the difference of energy between water and soil and air and plants. And we will even give you sometimes some little tasks, little, how could I say, assignments for the breaks or when you have time to go around to explore the campus with this kind of sensoring, this kind of radar, because this trains you to do this during your normal life. This helps us to get closer and closer to feel the non-physical energies. I mean, the even more subtle energies, the extra physical energies. So when we work with energies to lift the body, when we work with energies to help someone, or when we work with energies to cleanse a place, could be our house, more permanent kind of cleansing, but sometimes even when it is temporary. If you are traveling, if you stay in a hotel for a while, sometimes it's even more important to work with the energy there for you to be okay for a while there. Yes, Nancy?
Yes, absolutely. And I think the most important, well, for me, having had the experience of being able to train so many people, I think the most important thing is that our goal is not only for you to have nice 6 days. It will be very nice 6 days, I promise to you, with lots of experience, but our goal is more than that. Our goal is that you indeed develop your capacities, the mastery of your energy, of your astral body, and that you leave the place with knowledge and techniques that you can apply in everyday life, more than just using the techniques while you are there. And that's what we focus on so much. And what helps us a lot there is because the campus, it has some structures that makes it possible for us to do this sort of activities, because it is not only used exclusively for IAC, but it's dedicated. We do not have any activities at the campus that is not directly related with the things we are discussing here. What does it mean in practice? You tell me, where do you go where the energies are not mixed? I have never been to any place like this unless it's a church. But we are not looking for a church. We are looking for an educational center. When you go to a place that you have some sort of retreat, it's mixed activities. I do not know if you understand what I mean by mixed activities. It's people from other line of studies that come and also use the facilities. They rent, they have parties. Yes.
If you allow me to interrupt, just because
Please.
it was a very good experience when we were in Florida. We used to use the hotel without names here, but some people would go there every weekend to remember some battles of the Second World War. You remember those veterans, those elderly people, very nice people, of course, but they would play videos and showing battles there. And sometimes just after this group, we would enter the place to start a kind of immersion course that we had at that time. You can imagine the kind of attraction, the summoning of some extra physical consciousness that were called by those discussions, those thoughts there. This would be just one example among many.
Yes, that would interfere. So that's why we wanted so much to create something that it would be dedicated to your growth. Not only teaching you techniques, but teaching you how the techniques work for you. Teaching you how you can recognize the effects that you experience. Teaching you how to interpret the experiences you have, because it's not simple at all. Sometimes it's a mix of our brain creating images, maybe some dreamlike image, with a real experience, with clairvoyance, with the perception of a spiritual presence, but at the same time, some fragments of recollection from a past life. All of these may happen, not only there, may happen in your house, when you are in a hotel, when you visit a place, it may happen. But how do you recognize what's going on? How do you distinguish what is an external factor from what is a real experience? What is a past life experience reaction? And what is just you picking information from, let's say you are on a tour, you are visiting a new city for you, and then you have experience. How do you know? You are kind of reading the energy of the place and experiencing things in your mind because your psychic abilities are in action there, or if you had been there in a past life. So just bringing here a more clear explanation of what I mean. When you are in a space that is pristine like that one, and with support from people to help you recognize what happened, you start being able to understand your experiences better. And I think that is a great, great value that comes attached with the retreat. Our experiencing in guiding each person to analyze their own experiences without fantasy. Because what you experience, that's it. We are going to reinforce. What is not a real experience, we are going to help you recognize it. Because if you come from the premise that some sort of idea you had is necessarily something spiritual, but let's say it's not, if you allow that wrong premise to grow inside of you, it diminish your capacity for real spiritual development. So that's why we use some of these strategies, and that's why we place so much emphasis on the strategies and what we do. Here, let me show you.
Yeah.
There were some factors that played a role in the design of the campus, in the architecture, in our planning. Perhaps you want to share some of these, Wagner?
Yes, because we have been thinking about this for so many years, and we thought what would be the best things we could do to improve, optimize as much as possible this space. So here you can see at the right, a couple of our labs. You can see they are round. The one that you can see closer here in the forefront, first plane, is lab is just half of a sphere on top of a flat floor. But the second one you see there, in the background, is what we call the projectarium. That place is a whole sphere. So is complete sphere with a kind of platform in the middle where the person is going to be lie down, rest, to have the experience there. In fact, we built this, when people start talking about the cerebral, I don't know if you remember on the X-Men, those sci-fi and fantasy movies. So the idea there they had is about the same that we had there. So one of the reasons for that is to create a kind of psychological breaking or break up with the normal influences we have, because usually we are inside of cubic places with straight lines. We are used to those. So when people enter these labs, there is already a kind of a soft impact. You feel you are in a kind of exotic space. Some people even, I think Nanci is going to remember the case, people who came to visit our campus, even friends, even neighbors, they came and they could not enter deeply there at the core of the projectarium, because when the person entered there, the person said something like this: look, this is too alien for me. This is strange. So this is good because breaking with our normal conditionings, and conditionings is a topic that we are going to discuss during the retreat, help us to get out of the body. Another aspect of this is energy, because when we have our normal cubic spaces, we have the corners. there is a tendency for energy to get stagnant at those corners. They don't circulate as much. But when you are in a place that is completely spherical or hemispherical, half of a sphere, you don't have corners. All portions, all spots are the same. So energy flows in a different way. And we can even feel this. You go there, even the sound is different. The echoes are different. In the future, we even want to put some kind of cover, something to surface the walls there with material that would absorb even more the internal echoes. There is no sound coming from outside, but for the person to feel even more isolated there. But this is just an improvement for us for the future. So this space is the labs. We have nowadays 4 of them, but one is this that Nancy put here. Is not a normal, masonry lab, but it's a tree house. Has a different kind of purpose there. Certainly has to be something light, made of wood, to be compatible with the energies of the tree. This is what we call the phytolab. So you see, is as high as possible, farther from the ground, because we wanted to isolate the ground energy, GU energy, to make the person feel as much as possible, as exclusively as possible, the energy of the tree. Many times in our area, we hear this expression, of people hugging trees, or tree huggers, sometimes even as not such a kind of reference to some of us. But here, instead of us going and hugging a tree, we allow the tree to hug us. We go there to the core, that space between the branches there. And we are going to explain this to you when you go there in details, but you relax, you open up, you work with energy, you do low vibrational state if possible, to cleanse some kind of influence that you might bring with you. And then you open up, and then we start feeling energies from the tree. And there are many different, I would say, healthy or health effects of this kind of energy, because it re-energizes, vitalizes our body. Because the tree is a living being like us, made of the same matter we are made of here. But also this helps people to relax a lot. There's a very strong influence in some of our chakras. We are not going to explain this now. Yes, Nancy?
We do not want to spoil you, yes.
To induce you, because this is one of the
Yes.
tasks we tell everyone. Look, when you go to the phytolab, this tree house, try to sense which chakra is the one that is activated, is stimulated the most. But I can say this in advance, that people settle down, they relax. Sometimes in 15, 20 minutes there, the person settles in such a way, the person feels very serene, among many other things there. So you see, in some of our labs, we had this idea of building them with, masonry, but semi-rounded, or the whole sphere. But in this case here, because it has to be something light. And by the way, we took care not to bring the normal electricity to that lab. So we use just very low voltage, just 12 volts from a solar panel, just for some lights there, because this lab can be used during the evening. There is a little battery there, but not the 240 volts, oscillating 50 times per second, 50 hertz. That creates a kind of antenna effect, a kind of electromagnetic pollution. We did that to preserve the tree as much as possible. We didn't want to be intrusive on the tree, living there certainly for more than 100 years, because those trees are very old, but also to avoid any kind of technological, artificial influence on people there, so they can really sense the energies of the tree. So we don't have much time here, but each of those labs have a different theme, a different purpose. They were optimized for some specific kind of a psychic or multidimensional experience. This one of the phytoenergy for people to feel more integrated with nature. Projectarium that help us to get out of the body. Now I can even share with you an experience I had there when we were about to inaugurate that lab, when we were finishing the construction of it. Another lab is for the expansion of consciousness. A kind of phenomenon you might know as samadhi, satori, nirvana, expansion of consciousness, is a state in which we are expressing, manifesting a level of lucidity, awareness, consciousness that is much, much higher than the one we have here now. So from that state, when we remember this state we are here right now, it seems this is a dream. It seems that we are sleepwalkers here. So we can see that this level of lucidity that we have here now is just a fraction of the total of lucidity we are capable of having. And another level was optimized for the energetic awareness, for the person to feel energy. Mostly, in most of the cases, we focus on the vibrational state. We even have a kind of a table that we helped to create. We were the consultants for that. The table used some electronic vibration there from one side to the other, creating a kind of a standing wave that swipes, goes up and down. So when the person is on top of it, the person feels something like the vibration state. Certainly is a mechanical vibration. It's created with sounds and playing with some harmonics, some constructive, destructive interference. There's the whole technical side of that. But anyway, you feel like vibration going up and down with your body. That is going to illustrate how we do velo. And I even saw here that one of the questions we have here is exactly, Nanci, about velo, how can be done. If we have time, I think would be interesting to discuss that. But just to complete this, we have a lodge where people can stay, so people can go and can be there for a few days. Some people have been there for months. People had the time, conditions to be there for months, using the labs, sometimes talking to us when we go there to work, to do something. We have two big auditoriums. One is a kind of a hub where we have the places where we eat. We have the library where people mingle, discuss. Another one is our auditorium, a very high-tech, very modern place where we have the main classes, where we have the classes where people lie down. I think Nanci might have some pictures, Nanci, of people lying down on the floor to be able to leave the body now, or no. I sent you a couple of them. Yes, Nanci, perhaps you can explain this here.
Yes. I'll just bring here something, another angle, just to add up to what Wagner is saying, which for us is a very important thing. The climate in terms of what goes on, of those things that are not spoken. We have no ideology. We are working as scientists to bring awareness and control to aspects that are natural. We all should be able to experience this reality beyond the physical body. Why don't we? Because not only we are not trained to do so, but on the contrary, we are brainwashed not to do so. Brainwashed by our conditions, by our physical body, brainwashed because everything we sense here is so strong, is so vivid, is so clear, that we kind of have in our minds that this is the reality and anything else is scary. Hollywood movies, religion, blah, blah. So we want to put everything like that aside. And we want to focus exclusively on knowing our real nature. You knowing your real nature, which is multidimensional. It's not only physical, it's physical, energetic, spiritual, astral, mental, and everything is manifesting all together here. And there we are, because of conditioning and repression, all of us, and I'll include myself, we manifest less than we could. We experience life in lesser degree then would be viable. But this is called evolution, and each of us, we are at a different phase in gaining awareness of these multiple levels of reality and gaining control of the different bodies that we have, not only the physical, but the energetic and the subtle bodies. Then this is very important for us. The climate is a climate of friendship, is a climate where you are free to be yourself. You are not forced to do anything. You will have space to experience whatever is for you, your predisposition or the new step that you want to go. And you are going to have, from Wagner and from myself, a clear guidance. We are not going to hold back anything, and we are going to give you all the tools that we have, and treating all of these phenomena as something natural. So we eat together outside, we chat, we walk, and I just picked some pictures here to give you a feeling of the campus, but of course, they do not reflect everything. And may I go on, Wagner?
Yes, I would like just to say something that will complement based on some of the questions here. Because someone here, Carmen, asked where we are there in Portugal. So it's part of the topic. We are at the east of Portugal in a region called Alentejo. It's kind of 1 hour and a half east of Lisbon. Very easy to reach. And we are close to the city of Estremoz. And another one that is a little bit more known is Évora. So this region is very more focused on agriculture. So is about production of grapes for wine and olives for olive oil. So it's a very agrarian, very simple, but very pure kind of region. So there is no pollution. We are 15 minutes away from the closest city, but make us close enough to the city to have access to everything that we might need, but far enough to avoid any kind of distraction or noise, or people around. And this helps us to have our activities there in the best way possible. And there is someone here, Nanci, asking something that I think it is good just to get out of the way. We have, I think here was Debbie asking, we have activities that are done through the internet. So our consciousness development program that you can watch, attend online. So it's virtual because the instructors, Nanci and I and others, are not going to be there answering your questions, but it's exposure, teaching of many different techniques. But once in a while, we have a participative class where we have the time to discuss everything there. We have an ergo fitness when we have in real time work with energy. But then I'm saying this, Nanci, just to compare with what we are doing now, because sometimes we need really the contact, the touch. Because, for instance, some of the activities Nanci and I are going to do there with you is to check your energies. How strong are you when you emit energy? So when we sense your energy, we might feel if you have a particular chakra with some energy block. We might help you to have a better energy flow in the case of your velo. So to have this kind of experience cannot be through a computer. We have to be really in the old ways, habitating the same space and time, okay? So another point for the retreat is a kind of activity we don't have every month. We have one, perhaps two per year. So perhaps the next one we are going to have, depending on other commitments Nanci and I are going to have, is going to be only next year. So if you can take advantage of the time now. And something else, Nanci, that I think it is interesting, we are now living such crazy times. Society, humanity is changing so fast in so many different ways. Robotics, artificial intelligence, some economic and political changes of the last few years or months. And I think a lot of the things that we teach, discuss, the tools that we provide you, can give you more resilience, more understanding, and better ways to cope with a kind of environment that now is becoming more and more difficult for us to adapt to. So I can see in my case, knowing about multidimensionality and meeting people who I knew died, and then I met outside of the body, meeting people before they were born here, working with the energies. This makes us stronger, more resilient. Sometimes stronger to help to change some things, but even if there are things that we cannot change, at least we can cope in better ways. So I think this is something for us to emphasize also, Nancy, because I think we are going to live very crazy times.
Oh, yes, it looks like that. And sorry here for the reshuffling of my image, but we want to give you an idea of the range of activities because it's going to be broad. We are going to do exercises for censoring energy outdoors. We are going to visit interesting places because we are in a beautiful and special area, really, in Portugal. Portugal is very beautiful, but for what we do, that is the place. So we are in the right place. So we are going to take you to know places. And why? Because we do not want it to be tiring, to be every day in the same building, talking and exercising. So we want to create breaks. Everything is a balance based on our experience. Every activity is planned for a reason, so that we have the time we need to mature some experiences. We are going to have some specific activities at the best moment within those 6 days that you are going to be there, the best moment for you to have better results. And and as Wagner said, some of the activities that we will do will be doing like an evaluation session of your energy to give you direct tips. You are to open, you are to close. There is a chakra that works like this, works like that. Your energy expands too much, expands too little. We are only going to know when we analyze you. But if you are there, that is part of what we do. So it's classes, it's exercises lying down, it's energy practice, it's interaction, it's hands-on activities, many different things. And sometimes even we watch a movie depending on the climate of the day, but of course a movie that is related with what we study, so that we keep growing, we keep expanding in our perceptions. So here I did a little summary, because then we can go to your questions. One of the things that we want to mention is the scarcity of in-person events. Because in the past, Wagner and I, we were crazier than we are today. So we would travel.
Well, that would be possible, but yes.
It seems it is possible, because we would travel all the time, almost like 3/4 of the year to teach. Nowadays, we are not ready to do this, but we feel what we can give is special. So we are finding ways to continue being present, supporting those who want to study and get better of this kind of topics that we teach, but at the same time, reserving some special conditions so that we have time for our books, for our research, for our studies. We have many different topics that we study beyond what we are going to work on there with you. So we try and organize all of that. You are going to have there support from specialized spirit mentors. So it's those spirit guides, spirit mentors who want to support you, plus those who are technical spirits who work on this field that we work. and those who are there at the campus to support some of the experiences that happens only there. So being in an environment that is so specialized, and that's why we do not like so much different activities there, it creates an energy vibe that allows some spirit mentors to help us and get close to us in ways that they normally would not be able to. So this is going to be present there. You are going to have our experience and our expertise, not only with out-of-body experience and energy. We study many different topics. Each of us, we have probably 20, 25 different courses on different topics. We don't teach these courses so often, and probably we will make them become books before we go back to teaching them. But over there, we are going to use all of this knowledge to share and support you. It's 6 full days of immersion and reclusion, because that gives you the possibility to experience things that you wouldn't if you were at home. Or even if we, for example, give such same activities in a different places. Number one, we wouldn't have the labs. We wouldn't have the same type of energy. But also another problem is somebody comes, stays with us, let's say, during the activities in the day, but then they go back to their homes. And again, all of the different information that is gravitating there in the energy, reconnect with them. So it's a little bit of 2 steps ahead, 1 back, 2 ahead, 1 back. And being at the campus, you can go deep without distraction and have the time and the condition to create some deeper transformation, more than just having experiences. We are the kind of instructors that we go all the way. We do not want only to give you one out-of-body experience. We want to give you understanding of why you were not having them before, why they happen in that moment, and what it means to you and how you can use that. So, if you come to any classes with Wagner or myself, that's what you have. Somebody who wants to give you everything possible. Right, Wagner?
Absolutely, yeah.
And the other thing that we can explore there is that to give you more experience in relation to your energy, we are going to have a perfect environment, because we have plenty of energy from nature, different aspects. And nature there, you can walk, and there is no intrusion, no spirits gravitating. It's clean in a non-physical level. Historically speaking, before us there, the only thing that existed there were sheep, just grazing. And that's the place we are in. So this is the opportunity. And I know some of you would love to come, and maybe you cannot come at this time. As long as we are there, you are so welcome. But all of you who would like to take advantage, my suggestion is don't leave it for later, for all the obvious reasons. Plus, we do not know when we are going to be able to do this again, and when we are going to be able to do this together. Maybe it happens, but only one of us, or in a different condition. So this is the moment if you want to take advantage of this. I am going to bring your questions, and Wagner and I will be discussing them. Is that okay, Wagner?
Good, yes.
Perhaps I show you a little video of the campus before, and then we prepare your questions here. Yes, and because then gives
it's going
us
to
time.
Inspire people. Yeah.
Perfect. So then it gives us also time to organize the questions, and we go straight to the point. So here it is. It's less than 3 minutes. Well, so this was one day, filmed throughout one day in the winter. And we have very specific seasons there at the campus. So it's almost like we have 4 different campuses, depending on the time of the year. We are going to be there on springtime. So there will be many flowers, a bit of pollen, but perfectly manageable because we are going to be outdoors for not so long. But it's beautiful, full of green and flowers. So it's very beautiful period. But here we are going to bring your questions. Is that okay? There are some new ones. Let me come here. Oh, I see here Inboard is here with us. She is saying she did the spa. Yeah, I saw your name and I was wondering, is this Ing? So wonderful to see you here. Yes, you were with us in November 2021, long ago. Fascinating and very well orchestrated experience. A very dense program. Yes, lots of teachings and activities, eye-opening lectures. The campus is a perfect location with all of the laboratories. Good balance between theory and practice. Thank you for your testimonial, Ing. Very nice. I see here other questions. Just want to make sure I'm not going to skip anyone. If I do, you please shout.
If I may, Nancy, just because I'm seeing one here that is interesting.
Yes. Would you like to bring it to the screen, Wagner, or you just read?
Yeah, I just read here.
Okay.
Perhaps it's going to be easier because then you can work on this selection there.
Okay.
Because some people here, Lillian and others, asked how they can be prepared, what they can do before coming. Very good question. So some things. If you haven't done yet, we suggest you to watch our course CDP Online, Consciousness Development Program, because it is a course you can attend online as you want, as you like, very fast or slow, in small parts, a marathon of a weekend, because when you go there, you will know a little bit more about our terminology, some of the concepts, so we can go faster through some of these things. Also, do as much, for those of you who know, Velos, vibrational state, energy work. But perhaps the most important thing for you is to arrive there at the campus in Portugal as rested as you can. Because what is common, because of our human nature, is for the last few days to try to fix a lot of things, and then we get stressed, we sleep very little, and the long trip will only add to this exhaustion. So if you can arrive there as rested as you can, sleeping well, is going to be very good for you. And as part of the preparation also, some of the people asking here asked what they can bring. So very comfortable clothes, and some that can be a little bit warmer, because in April we have sometimes kind of cold nights and hot days. So something very comfortable, perhaps a kind of sweater or very loosened pants, because when you lie down on the floor, when you go to the labs, the more comfortable you are, the better it's going to be for you. You are not going to need much more than this, but perhaps if you want to bring a tablet or a laptop for you to take notes of the things that happen to you. And one of our friends here asked if he can bring his bike. By all means, but I don't know if you are going to have much time for that. Usually we start not very early in the morning. Now, Nancy, I think it's about 9 in the morning when we start. So if people like to wake up early in the morning, by all means, the place is very safe and very good for walks and even for a bicycle. I many times ride my bicycle there, go up and down, very nice, very safe roads. I mean, as safe as they can be with trucks and cars passing. But it's a very good place to exercise if you want. Okay? So, Nancy, I think by now you might have some questions.
Yes, I did.
I can
Yes,
see
I
others
select. Yes, I did. Let me go back to them. Oh, here is the velo technique. It's a little bit out of the scope, but that's okay. I think you said you couldn't come, right? Jive Cat. Have you seen a video that I have in my channel teaching how to do velo? If you have not seen, you just look for how to do velo technique. That's the name of the video. And there it teaches you every detail. Of course, in the retreat, we are going to be able to practice and to help you in more practical ways, because we will be able to see and sense what's going on in your energy. So we can give you a deeper, more consistent feedback. But so I do not know how much you know about velo, so that is not so, I do not know what to explain. Explain the velo technique step by step. That's what you have there in that video, okay? So it's like 30-minute video, so it's well explained. But velo, it's moving the energy inside of you. But there are some strategies to do it that gives better results to it, okay?
And also during the retreat, we are going to focus, in velo in details.
Perfect. And here, Kat, do we need to book lab sessions prior to arriving at the site? No, Kat, the best is that there on the first day, we are going to introduce everything, and then all of you will know what's available, and you can book them. In previous courses, we included the labs on the price, but not everybody wants to do all the labs. Some people, they want to try only one or two, others, they prefer to do an energy exercise outdoors. So we thought it's more fair to you that the labs are booked there according to your priorities. But we are going to give a special discount for those who are in the retreat.
Yeah, Nancy, perhaps one thing important to say is that as we have only 4 labs for perhaps many people, because we intend to have, or we plan to have the maximum, I think, Nancy, of 30 people. Yes?
Yes.
Perhaps we are going to have a little bit less. So we cannot guarantee that you are going to use a particular lab. So what we do, to be very fair, is that we draw the names, the numbers there for those interested, to see how we fit the labs there. Because otherwise, how would we use a ethical, fair, criterion to select who goes to the labs there?
Yes.
But it has worked like this well for 25 years. I don't think this will be a problem, because we have done this so many times.
Yes.
I don't know if this is obvious by now, but this is not the first retreat we are going to have. We have had many. So we try to use our experience from the previous retreats.
Yes, and the strategy we use, because of course, right now, each of you have an idea of what lab you are going to do and what for, but we are going to, the beginning of the training will be a deep energy awareness exercise with also connection with the non-physical energies and non-physical dimensions. So we start practicing this so that you expand, and we take you to the labs. We explain about the labs. So you will know, I have affinity with this one. Oh, in this one I felt such and such energy. Oh, this is the one for me. So it's better that each of you book knowing what's in there. But of course, on Saturday, our class finished on Friday, late afternoon. On Saturday, we are there, and you will be there. Your hotel is paid until Saturday. Why? So that you do not have to leave in a hurry. We can conclude the course without thinking of, I need to go to the airport immediately. So that's why we planned like this. And you guys can still have time to do that on Saturday, or even in moments when it's breaks, time
And then
for
see,
rest in the course.
also some people, sometimes they stay a little bit longer when they have this flexibility, this possibility. They stay for a few more days, and
Yes.
then the person has all the labs available. If there is more than one person, we just organize that.
Yes, yes, and several who are already booked and who are here with us in this live talk already booked for days prior and after. And that is a great thing because you are not under pressure. I have to leave immediately. Oh, tomorrow I need to get a cab to go to the airport, because the connection with everyday life spoils a little bit the experience. So that's why we wanted you to have 6 full days and you depart on the following day so that you can enjoy properly the whole time. And we will guide you with that. We have been doing that for so long, we will be able to guide you. We have here a question about, it's a very practical question from Nicole. Can we connect with other participants to meet at the airport or bus station? Yes, we intend to just wait a little bit more so that we have more, everyone registered who will come, and then we will ask who is arriving, what time, how are you coming, would you like to share transportation, because maybe somebody's getting a cab. Yes, some people will rent a car. Many times people rent a car, which is a good thing to do for those who can. But also the other options of transportation are excellent. Portugal, it's calm and excellent. It's easy. But we intend to do that, Nicole, okay? And we are going to give details to each of you who are registered. What we expect, what time we start, what's the timetable, how transportation is going to work. Don't worry, and we will try to facilitate that, the more we can. But certain things we have to be together, right? Like returning to the airport. If we are all together, we have more chances, more capacities to plan it there. Oh, I leave this hour. Coming is a little bit harder because meeting at the airport at the same time sometimes doesn't work so well. If there is a flight delay, yes, or something like this. But if the time range is very close, I think it works perfectly. And I see here other questions, but I don't think they are connected to the retreat. So I do not know.
Some are very general.
Leave them. Yes.
Yeah. But one of them here from Infinite Being, I think it's interesting to mention because he or she is asking, what is the best approach to have an OBE for someone who hasn't had any sort of experience before? This is interesting because many of our students, they were exactly like this. They wanted to have OBEs, but they haven't had those. So there are some aspects that we are going to discuss during the retreat, but a very good level of relaxation is essential, and we are going to focus on that. Energy work, because some people, sometimes they are too glued to their physical body, so it's difficult to get out. So energy work is one of the ways of releasing this connection, so making it easier for us to get out of the body. Another thing is learning, practicing as many techniques as you can. That's why during the retreat, we are going to use a few different techniques because people are different. One technique can be good for someone, doesn't work for somebody else, and vice versa. So this is just, of course, very quickly. But these are the main topics we are going to discuss during this retreat.
Yes, and I see here that some people have very specific questions. They are arriving at certain times, and I'm going to place here an information for those of you who want to book, because the sooner you book, the better. It's going to get to a point in which we will stop receiving registrations simply because we need to hire catering, of course, we need to take care of the hotels and everything, so we need to know the final number of people. Somebody here is curious to know how many. Usually we go around 30. So, but it depends a little bit on the activities and which days they are, but it goes around 30 more or less. I have placed there the link for you to find out more and register. At this point, you still can benefit from paying in installments. And it will be 2 or 3 installments depending on the date that you registered. So if you are interested, don't wait for later. I see here All Star asking when we are going to have other retreats. If we have another, it's going to be in Portuguese. Because we have to attend people from different. In the past, we used to have simultaneous translation. We have a very sophisticated translation booth, but it's so complicated, and we would have to organize people in groups by language, so we decided not to do that. So another one in English in 1 year. Next April.
But anyway, Nancy, sorry to say at the same time, but just to say to Alastair Walker here, he's asking about the dates. The dates for this one we are going to have now. Do you remember the dates? What are the dates? April
26 to May 3rd.
To May 3rd, yes. So just Alastair, for you to know, for this one, April 26th to May the 3rd.
Exactly. And I see here somebody who booked the flight for May 2nd. So it's okay. We are going to help you organize that. The course is intended to finish on May 30th, so that May 2nd we can go until later in the day. But if you send us an email, we are going to address that specifically for your condition, okay? So I guess that's it.
If I may
right?
comment on 2 things here,
Yes.
Nancy, very quickly, because it's still by Clay is asking something very technical. Well, perhaps you don't know, but I'm an electrical engineer. So talking about Faraday cage is kind of my area. So we have done some experiments like this, not as much as we wanted, but when we were doing experiments with functional MRI magnetic resonance imagery, because the whole room is a big Faraday cage. So we have part of that research done. But it's interesting because if you check on the internet, and I think someone shared the link for my research on energy work, how it influences the brain, and how the brain is monitored by functional MRI. So you can check there, bioenergy technology, and my name, Wagner Alegretti, and then you are going to find this besides having this link there, because you're going to see some of those things there. But let me say, Faraday cage will not protect anyone from extra physical consciousness. It's only from electromagnetic waves. But some of these things we will discuss during the course, because we will see what kind of cage can really isolate us from external energies. So it's not with a mesh of metal, but it's with our own energies on the space around of us. That's exactly what works well in this case.
Yes. And Wagner already mentioned about the consciousness development program. This is optional. The course, we are going to do it in a way that anyone can participate. But whoever has done the consciousness development program will find it, will see more subtleties in what we explain, maybe even go deeper. So it's recommended, it's not mandatory. For those of you who are registered already or who will register, we are offering 50% off the CDP course so that you can be present with us. And if you have already taken in the past, we give you access again for free if you book for this retreat. because the idea here is how can we support you for you to get there sharp, prepared. But no worry, if you get there not sharp and prepared, we help you to get prepared and get sharp. As Wagner said, if you come just with a peaceful state of mind, that is perfect. We take care of all the rest. It's going to be 6 days in which you will experience a different type of reality. You will experience life in a completely different way, far from the worries of everyday life, and immersed in discussions and realities and energies that take you beyond the restriction of this physical world. That is very important, and that's our goal. We hope you can join us. We hope we could answer all of your questions and bring more details. If you need any information, you please write, here it is. You write to hello@iacworld.org. I put there for you so that you can follow us and connect if you need any specific information. And I also place the link for you to find out more about the retreat and join. Join because we do not know when it's going to happen again. And this is a fact. It is a fact. It has been perhaps 2 years that we were not being able, not that we didn't want to, we're not being able, because of time, because of availability, we were not being able to join. I see that Wagner, probably his internet just dropped out, so he's no longer here. So it's for me to thank you for your presence. And it's so great to see several of you who are already booked here. I guess this gives you a better idea of what is to come. And we will definitely be in contact to help you prepare your trip and prepare also how you can make the most of the experience. Okay? And I look forward to seeing you there. I hope Wagner is back. I hope you get to be there with us. So we will say goodbye then. I was just saying goodbye and explaining that you lost
my
internet
connection just fell, came back. I don't know if it is because of rain here in Rio de Janeiro now. So it was good being with you, and I look forward to seeing you, meeting you there in person, so we can evolve together.
Absolutely.
All the
best.
Bye,
guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.